Hey, Shalom, welcome to Rakam Makapash from GMS London, giving all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Chachadash. Want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful elect, pushing his truth in all sincerity. Back again with another video. Got another article here from BBC, and today, they here in the UK, they released a whole bunch of prisoners early because of the prisons being full in the UK. And I know this is the case with a lot of countries. Okay, I've heard, different places in the States, and Venezuela done this in the past, and whatever the case may be. A lot of nations are dealing with the fact that their prisons are overrun, and to accommodate new detainees, new prisoners, they decided to let quote unquote so-called lower level criminals out early. Now, when you when you go into it, I was watching an article, video on it earlier. They're not all quite as low, criminal as they make it sound out to be. So some of these guys are kind of, the type of guys you don't really want on the street, really, right? And they've just let a whole bunch of them just out there, right? And these people, these types of dudes are gonna play their part or play their role in prophecy. Okay, when this whole, when the world goes to shit, okay, and dives into chaos, right, they're gonna play their role, man, because they're people or men with different mentalities than to most of the society, man, right? And they ain't got no problem doing some madness or some badness, right? That the average person is not really on doing. These quote unquote upstanding citizens, right? These people are of a different mentality, right? The Lord's got a different type of spirit on these dudes, man, and they're gonna play their part in wreaking havoc in society when shit hits the fan. All right, and that's why these types of dudes are being released, man. And these won't be the oldie people; they're gonna be more, right? And like I said, they're gonna play their role in downfall or the destruction of this place, man, and the people in it, right? But let me read some of this, right? Pardon me, right? So again, from the BBC News, it says every cell was full. Prisoners reveal conditions as early release scheme begins. More than 1,700 prisoners are being let out early in England and Wales today as part of a government scheme to deal with overcrowding. One prisoner told BBC that every cell was full. Another calls his prison chocker. Another word we use for full. While another says cells were falling apart. Offenders serving less than 5 years are being released after 40% of their sentence rather than the usual 50. The chief inspector of probation says some of those released will certainly reoffend. Right, so they're not, rehabilitating, dudes, right? They're looking to live the straight and narrow. Now, man, some of them are just inbreeding them to do madness, right? To do criminality, right? And so these guys are out there, right? So it's just amount of time, certain amount of time until they do some dumb shit again, right? So it goes. So some of these will certainly reoffend overall. Says more than 1 in 4 do so within a year, right? That's the statistic on that, right? So 1 in 4 reoffend within a year after being released from prison, right? The prison population in England and Wales hit 88,000. So 88,521 last week, an all-time high. And Keir Starmer says the situation is at crisis point, right? So they have to do this because there's no space for them, right? And that's a common thing in these different countries. There's no space for them, so they're just gonna release them, you know. Let's see. this here says the Union for Probation Workers said some people convicted of domestic violence and sexual offences are being released early, despite government assurances, but the Ministry of Justice denies this. And prisoners who have been released have described the conditions, whatever. Right? So some are saying some of these guys are sexual offenders and you know, what do they say? You know, committed domestic violence and that kind of shit, right? It says sexual offenders are being released early, probation union claims. And here's some more from the NAPO statement. It says that sexual offenders are being released early despite government guidance. Members have shared examples where those with both domestic violence offences and sexual offences have been released because of this, says NAPO General Secretary Lan Lawrence. When this has been challenged, members have been directed to HMPPS, blah blah blah, you read the acronym, guidance which has stated that the early release is correct and cannot be challenged. Members are extremely disappointed that this has been denied during several media appearances by government ministers, and we have been challenging this in our media engagement. We call on the government to correct the record. In response, the Ministry of Justice points out eligibility for the scheme is based on the offence, not the offender, that the offenders may be released early from their sentence for a lesser offence when they have previously completed a sentence for a sexual or violent offence. Right, so that's what's going on anyway. So like I said, these guys, some of these guys at least anyway, they're gonna play their part in Jacob's trouble, okay, in the time of like such as never been, right? So let's grab these scriptures, right? Daniel chapter 12, verse 1 says, at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, who is standing for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book, right? So we all know that a time of trouble is coming, right? And these sort of things are signs of especially of potential anarchy and havoc, right? And you got more dudes like this on the street. Okay, you want them in the cells. You don't want them out the cells, right? So letting them out, right, already spells trouble. You know what I'm saying? So Jeremiah 30 verse 7 says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it, right? So Jacob's trouble is coming, so we're going to get caught up in this, man. And a lot of our people are going to be subject to this. Okay, I'm going to suffer, from all of this, right? Only the elect of the Lord are going to be protected in that time, right? So these types of dudes will be going for, Jake and, the weak and vulnerable, right? Because that's what these types of characters, that's what they do. They attack the weak and vulnerable, all right? Their mind is wired different, right? Because the Lord got a different type of spirit on them, right? And so I wanted to get this is from Sirach chapter 39. So there be spirits, chapter 39, verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, right? So it's like you got a whole bunch of people on the planet that are like sleeper cells of the Lord, right? And they're just waiting for that spirit to be turned up, right? To do some crazy shit, especially in that time, And like I said, there's a lot of them. Like the Lord's, got a whole bunch of crazy ass dudes out here ready to do some crazy shit, right? Ready to do some fucking wicked ass shit to the so-called regular person on the earth, man, to take advantage of them and hurt them, right, in grievous manners, put people to death and all kinds of things, right? There's a lot of them out there, right? And they're gonna go fucking buck wild in that time, right? People are gonna be afraid to move around from place to place. People are gonna be afraid to be in their homes, because these grummies are not gonna care that you're in your house. You think you're safe, but Nah, man, they'll come run through, man. Right? If you got something that they want, or you're an obstacle, or whatever the case may be, man, they'll take you out. You know, the Lord's gonna have these dark spirits on these people, man. You know, so there'll be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hell and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction, right? So even these animals, these creatures are gonna have a fucking dark spirit on them, man. You know, to do evil, to do harm, grievous harm. All right. So the more these things are out here, there's increases the chances it's gonna happen, right? So all these things are signs, of this impending time of trouble, right? In 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 14. This was going to be a long video, so I'm going to close out with this, right? So, verse 14 says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell out therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh," right? Because that's what we know. We know this place is on the path to destruction, right? So everything's falling apart, right? And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, right? So people are going to take up arms, as they say, right? For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They should not regard their kings or princes, right? These men are in prison because they didn't regard their kings and princes already. They didn't respect the law and all this kind of stuff. They're in prison because they're doing some mad shit, right? So you think in that time where police are going to be stretched incredibly thin, right? They can't, they won't be able to keep up with the shit that's going on, right? They ain't got no place to put them. You know what I mean? The police officers themselves, they're lacking in numbers. They find it hard to recruit. They ain't paying the staff well enough. They're overworked. They're fucking tired and shit. They're gonna be stretched super thin, right? And they're not gonna be able to deal with it. And once that becomes apparent, and basically these gremlins have got the free the freedom to do what the fuck they like to, whatever they want to do. They're just gonna go out there and do what they want to do, man, and not give a shit about repercussions, because the police can't do nothing. They ain't gonna be able to do anything. They ain't gonna be able to lock them up again, or all that type of shit. So people are gonna be doing what the fuck they want to do in that time, because there's just nothing to stop them. There's not enough manpower to stop them. All right. So therefore, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. Right. So they'll be going house to house, place to place. Taking whatever they need, taking you out if they need to. Right. They should not regard their kings or princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Right. Because sedition means against governments. Right. They're rising up against governments, creating anarchy. Right. They'll be rolling around in their fucking gangs and their groups and shit. Just doing what they want to do. Right. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right. Because you're going to be governments on these police forces are going to be focused on keeping people in or out. So they're not going to be able to spare too much things going on in a city or in a town or whatever. So because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Right? It's gonna be a terrible time for everybody. And so with guys like this rolling around the streets, you ain't gonna want to step outside, but you ain't gonna be want inside. You ain't gonna want to be inside either. Because you're not in a secure place. Yeah, not really. Everyone thinks that their home is safe. It's a safe space. It's not really, is it? It's not got fucking security, measures to keep you out. Really, you got fucking windows that can be smashed, doors that can be ripped off. You fucking set your house on fire, some shit. This is not really secure. And that's why you're gonna be begging government to protect you. And you're gonna do whatever it is they say they want you to do. Right, and that includes take a MLTB, take the sea hip. You know? So because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, right? So they're not gonna feel any way about you. They're not gonna feel sorry or like, you know, they're not gonna care about you in your life, right? They're there for themselves and, you know, whatever it is they're doing. If you die in the process, man, so be it. If he dies, he dies. You know, all of that. Like, they're not gonna care. People are gonna be at each other's throats, man. Okay, every man for himself. You know. So man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. Right? You're gonna roll up in there, whatever tool you got. Right? Smash the door, smash the windows, whatever it is. Right? You're gonna break your way into the house and take whatever you need. You know. And so if anyone gets in your way, man, they're getting clapped. You know. It says they destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Right. So when it comes to that survival of the fittest type of shit, man, you think these guys that have been released today, right? They ain't gonna be on some shit. They're gonna be on some shit before a lot of you guys are, man. Because they've been living that way already. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna have no problems making the transition, man. A lot of these guys are gonna have no problem doing this. You know? They might not be no expert in combat or guns or nothing like that, but they'll roll out, man, and you know, because they've been rolling out, you know, and you know, strength in numbers and that type of shit. So they'll just go around, you know, ransack some houses, and then and you people are gonna be there just fucking prisoner or some shit, you know, women, daughters getting taken and shit, like whatever goes, they can do what they want. They got the powers in their hands, man. No one's stopping them. Police ain't around to do anything about it. So you know these types of dudes, man, they're dangerous, man, and they're gonna, I say, play their part in this time of trouble, man. You know, so like I say, all these are signs, and you know you can see how this is all building up, you know, into the situation that we're talking about. All right, so I'm gonna close it up. All right, so Lord, when it's been edifying, and I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video. So till next time, I say shalom.